Hey everyone, we're back for part 3, and I have to do a recording of this because I lost the last, my computer decided to reset itself, and now I have to do all this. Anyways, watch the previous two parts if you haven't, and also to understand the rules at the very beginning. Now, we are on part 3 of What If Deku was Kamen Rider Buffa. And in this arc, we're gonna be covering two, I believe. One of them being the Stain arc, and the other being a custom one I made. So let's begin. Michi was sitting at his apartment, thinking about whether he should go on patrol today, but noticing the fact that he has some broken ribs and such yada yada injuries, he decides to stay home. And he goes to the bathroom to get to the medicine cabinet when he looks at the mirror. He notices he's starting to look a lot like his old self. Just something to note. So now while he's sitting, he gets a phone call from his boss. And Mochi Mochi. No wait, Mochi Mochi no. Mushi Mushi. Yeah, I believe that's how it's said. Hey kid, just wanna let you know there ain't gonna be jobs for a week or two. The UA Sports Festival is happening sooner than expected. Ah, yeah, that's surprising. Yeah, but I heard about the attack that went on. Apparently, the Purple Buffalo was there. Huh. Can't say I'm really familiar with him. He's this new vigilante. But they're making such a big deal of him, but there's not a lot of information at the moment. If you want, I can update you on it. Yeah, that would be nice. Great. Also, just to let you know, our next job after our little break will be in Hosu for some time. So, hope you don't have to trek far. No, it doesn't really matter to me. Great. Heard the hero killer was there, though. Let's just hope he doesn't go after us. Well, I mean, with a name like Hero Killer, I assume he just goes after heroes. You know what I mean. Stay safe, kid. Beep. After Michi was finished with his phone call, he decides to take a moment to think about what he's learned so far. So, okay, there's a hero killer, the media knows more about me, and there's a sports festival going on. Hold on, what is the UA Sports Festival again? So he decides to quickly look up, and then learns all he needs to about it. And he decides to just watch it from home to see if he can learn anything new. I won't be covering the UA Sports Festival because, let's face it, nothing really important will happen there for this story. If it was one where if it was, let's say, a different Kamen Rider who became a hero, who decided to become a hero, then yeah, we would cover the UA Sports Festival. Maybe when I do Tycoon. Anyway, so we cut to Michi watching it and thinking, that school's fucking crazy. If it wasn't for the fact that they have powers, that school would have been shut down where I'm from. Just like a person staying from a different world, stating things that don't make sense to them. Yeah. And when it comes to the cavalry battle, he's like, what the fuck? Okay, let's be honest, everyone. That was the most pointless thing ever needed. There could have been a different type of team battle. Like, I don't know, group team against pro hero. That's what one guy did for What If Midoriya was an All For One fan. That worked. And the hero in question was Mirako. A lot of people's asses were kicked that day. Anyways, side tangent aside. And he gets to the one-on-one battles. And he makes some notes about certain characters. But when he gets to Todoroki, he notices he doesn't really. He seems to be split in half, so I assume he has two quirks. And he hears he's also the son of Endeavor, so he decides to look up more about him. And he learns about Endeavor and Hellflame, and hears some rumors about how the abuse and stuff. And Michi goes, I'm going after him. I'll need to be Tink, though. I can't really take him out even if I wanted to. He probably has a lot of psychics. His fires will be dangerous. If I get the water buckle, maybe. However, I can't do this alone. And then he remembers. Stain. I wonder if he'll be okay with an alliance. So Michi decides to pack his things up because the job is gonna be happening in Hosu. He decides to book a motel there because he saved up a bit. And also purchases the water buckle for cheap. And he remembers to check his points, and he sees he got around 5,000 points from the last mission, so he's up to 9,723. So before he goes, Michi gives his boss a quick phone call, let him know he's gonna be heading to Hosu a bit early. So if he needs him to do anything, just to let him know. The boss goes, "Yeah, you're quite hard-working, kid. I can respect that. Unfortunately, the site isn't open at the moment, so there's not much you can do, but if you can check around for some good spots for some food, I wouldn't mind." Yeah, I'll be sure to do that. Click! Huh, he hanged up on me. Oh well. Anyways, so Michi takes a train to Hosu and checks in at the motel where he'll be staying. So he also decides to go on patrol that night. At first, he's not very familiar with the layout, so he can't really do much. But then he hears something, and he sees what looks like a hero begging for life. Hey, you there! Get out of here! He's gonna. Michi looks up to see the hero kill a Stain. Another fake gotten rid of. So, I assume you're Stain? Stain threw a knife at him and goes, "Listen, I am not your enemy. I want to work with you. I don't have time for you fakes." "Oh, I'm not a hero. I'm sure you're familiar with the Purple Buffalo." "So you're him?" "Yes." What brings you to Hosu?" "I assume you haven't heard what I said to the pro heroes, but I'll let you know. You and I share a common goal. We want to get rid of the heroes." "I want to get rid of all the fakes." "Well, then we have a common ground to stand on. I assume you work alone, which is fine, but I need your help. And I believe there's a fake hero that we both want dead." "That being?" "The number 2 hero, Endeavor." Why Endeavor? He's strong." "Yes, but I've heard rumors, and I'd like to believe these rumors are true from what I've seen. Endeavor has abused his family in the goal of making a child that can surpass All Might. And in doing so, he pushed his wife to madness, pushed his 2 other children away, and lost another child of his." "Those are some accurate rumors. Are you sure you're not tricking me?" "I can assure you I'm not. But if you want to fight, I won't hesitate." That is conviction. I like it. Very well, Purple Buffalo. I believe you and I can work together. Yeah, I believe so too. So tell me, how many heroes have you taken out? I can't remember, but recently I've taken out Ingenium. And also this hero right here. Ah, unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to take out heroes due to the fact I wasn't prepared enough. However, I was there at the USJ attack. Oh, so you were with the villains, I assume? No, I had a mission there to help the heroes. And after I got what I wanted, I declared to all of them that their day of reckoning would come. So, Purple Buffalo. That's not my name. I assumed, so what is it? Kamen Rider Buffa. Or Buffa for short. Odd name, but I've heard worse. So, how long are you gonna be in Hosu? 'Cause I noticed you never patrolled here till now. Well, my day job brought me here. And I need to take out Endeavor. Well, not necessarily need, but I want him gone. So, how about you and I meet up at night to do patrols together and find heroes to kill? Alright then. Do you have any target you want to go after? Not at the moment. Well, I have one. The trunk hero, Eleph Tank. Michi stiffens at the thought of this. Sounds like this one's an elephant. Yeah, they're known for that powerful quirk. But I've also heard that they often eat down on newer pro heroes. Those are newer psychics. They're a bit of a bully. Michi stiffens even more at this. I'll kill him. Oh, so you were a victim? No. This just reminds me of what a friend of mine went through. It resulted in his death. And the perpetrator had looked like an elephant. Do you think it's him? No. By look like an elephant, I mean they wore a costume like that. So maybe this is some form of justice for me. Alright then. We should probably get going. How should we contact each other? Oh, you see that water tank over there? Yeah. We can meet up there. And after that, we'll discuss some more. Alright then. See you around, Buffa. Stain then wall jumps off to the roof and then makes his run away. Buffa then decides to leave and head back to the motel to rest up. So it's the next day, and Buffa is walking around, just checking out the restaurants and bars to see what's here, because his boss told him to do that for the sake of, well, being a pal. When he would see what would look like Eleph trunk with some of his fans, handing out autographs, doing all that kind of stuff. And Michi decides to just kind of observe from a distance and look like he's busy doing something else. He's trying to find as much information as he can, but he can't really gather much. And so Eletron continues with his patrol, and Michi decides to just sort of follow him, thinking there might be a chance Stain is also going after him. And because Stain also attacks in daylight. He just attacks anyway. He could be in your bathroom for all you know. You could just go in there, draw your shower curtains, and he's just standing there with a knife and a firearm. Because he stole your firearm, is he gonna use it against you? So he ends up noticing that Electrunk is heading towards what appears to be an abandoned junkyard. And he's considering, okay, something definitely sketchy's going on. So he keeps his trail on him longer. And that's when he notices this is Electrunk talking to some people, and he makes sure to stay. He makes sure he's hidden, you know.
Do you have what I asked for?
Yes, we do. Not high quality, but we're working to refine it.
Excellent. I will expect a new batch very soon, I assume.
It depends. These things are unpredictable.
Yes, this shall do nicely. As promised, here is your pay.
Pleasure doing business with you, but please, for the love of God, think of a better way to meet up. This is incredibly risky.
It's not like anyone will follow me to a junkyard.
Oh, you sweet summer elephant. If only you knew. Now, Michi does his best to get away as far away as possible. And he thinks to himself, okay, two things could be possible. One, it's just a standard business deal. Two, it's a drug deal. Who am I kidding? It's a drug deal. But what kind? I haven't had a good chance to look. Never mind. I'll talk with Stain about it later. And he continues to get a feel about the area. So it's night now, and Buffa is waiting for Stain, wearing his zombie armor, on top of that building they agreed to meet at. He's wondering, where is he? And then he hears, "So, you decided to show up?" He looks up to see Stain on top of the water tank he was leaning on, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm here. And I have some information about Electrunk." "Oh, really? Tell me more." "I saw him this morning conducting what seemed to be a drug deal. He was purchasing something from someone. I couldn't get a good look. But whatever it is, it's something important to him. So not only does he bring down other new Kamen heroes, he also does drugs. Why am I not surprised?" "Yeah, do you think he'll be on patrol today?" "Oh, most likely. I was observing him on my way here. We should head to his area now. It seems like he's trying to come after me." "So what's the plan then?" "I will engage him. But if it turns out something's wrong, you can pitch in. I'm not one for plans." "Alright then, let's go." So, Stain and Buffa begin tracking where Electrunk is. Now, granted, it's very easy to find a giant elephant that can stand on its legs in the middle of a city. So they're able to find him, but before Stain goes after him, Buffa holds him off and goes, "Hang on. I have a plan." What is your plan, then? Simple. What's the natural reaction of every hero upon hearing the scream? Well, if he's not a fake, he would rush in. But he is. Yes. But he has an audience. So I will act as bait, giving you the opportunity to go after him. Good plan. Alright. See that alleyway over there? I'll make my way to it so we can enact our plan. Good. Let's go. Now, so Electric is just going on patrol. A bunch of fans walk up to him, and then that's what he does. Screams, "Help! Help! It's a hero killer! Help!" Electrunk, in the president's fan, goes, "Don't."
Don't worry. I will rescue you.
Like, that voice is so stupid. I'm gonna have to draw Eleph Trunk. I'll probably put up a picture of him whenever I mention him. Anyways, moving on. He runs into the alleyway and begins following where the screams are coming from due to his large elephantine ears. But when he gets to where the screams were, he doesn't see anybody.
Seems like I've been mistaken. No matter, at least I don't have to fight him, but it's such a shame.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna scream in that voice. That's when Eleph Trunk is stabbed by a flying knife. He looks up to see, looking down on him, the hero killer Stain. Now Stain quickly jumps down and begins engaging against Eleph Trunk. Now Eleph Trunk is no pushover. He may be a big brown elephant, but he's tanky. He's like a sumo wrestler. And he also has a very thick skin. So Stain is having a hard time cutting him. His knife was just lucky enough to hit one of his soft spots. And he's trying to get to his knife, but Eleph Trunk is just so big. Like, he's having a hard time getting to it. But he does manage to slip by, and just as he's about to get his knife, Eleph Trunk goes,
Oh, no, you don't.
and then shoots something out of his trunk, which hits Stain. Now, Stain doesn't really notice what hit him. He just grabs his knife, and begins licking the blood, but notices it's not doing anything, with Eleph Trunk looking very smirk. What did you do?
I did a little deal, and now I have I've restocked on my special bullets.
That's when both Stain and Buffa, who is also hiding, realize Eleph Trunk has something that can affect quirks.
No, I should take you out and become much more popular.
And he begins charging at Stain, but Stain is no pushover. The blood take just is an add-on. He's still gonna have to deal with a very zippy boy. Now, if Eleph Trunk is doing his best, but Stain is also just a massive pain to hit. So Eleph Trunk just decides to slam into the ground, causing debris to fly up. And Stain is able to dodge that. But he can't do any damage, because Eleph Trunk is now making sure to protect his softer spots. And he doesn't really have the knife with blood anymore. Now both Stain and Buffa are thinking, is this permanent? Now Stain is trying his best to get another blood knife, but he's having no such luck. Eleph Trunk, with the most cockiest smirk I've ever seen, can elephants even smirk, goes,
Well, it's time for you to meet your end. Elephant, Gatling gun!
He begins pounding on his belly and begins shooting out lots of water. Now Stain is doing his best to dodge it, but it's getting overwhelming because not everyone is Deadpool who can just spin his sword and then just block all bullets. Now Eleph thinks he's winning, but that's when he hears what sounds like the revving of a chainsaw, and he goes,
What is that?
"You know what, I'm gonna replace his screams with elephants ones. That will be more funnier." He gets slashed by Buffa with zom with the sword, the zombie sword. Now Eltrunk staggers, looks at where he got hit, his shoulder, and goes,
You unpleasant bastard!
you can't really tell what he's saying. I gotta stop doing that voice. Now Sting quickly jumps beside Buffa, and Buffa hands him, goes, here, liquor. Don't know what you do, but okay, at least wait first. Now Elf Trunk is now paralyzed.
No! This was supposed to be my moment! My moment!
Both Stain and Buffa begin to walk up to him, with Buffa activating Poison Charge. Not only are you a fake, but you also work with criminals. Pathetic. I shall rid you of this world. And Buffa goes, you remind me of some bastard that killed my friend. I'll enjoy cutting you up. Now, Eleph Trunk is screaming so loud that then the entire city can hear it. There's a car horn going on outside. Now, while they cut him up and made sure he's dead, Buffa begins searching him. Why are you doing that? I'm trying to see what he used to disable your quirk. It could be useful, for me at least. Well, your quirk is quite I'm quirkless. Or in other words, I'm a normal human being. This shocks Stain, but soon a big grin forms on his face. No, quirk. Yet you still can do all of this. You could be one of the greatest heroes in the world. Why do all this? Simple. I want to get rid of all that stand in my way. Alright, I'll wait for you to open up to me sooner. Here's what it is. Looks like some kind of bullet. They soon hear police sirens and what seems to be the sounds of another hero, and they both go, let's get out of here. And so they do. Now, they get as far away as they can, and they also decide to split up. Now, Michi is back at the motel when he notices something on the bedside cabin. He opens the box to see what looks like a walkie-talkie. He picks it up and goes, hello? I see you found the little gift. This is how we'll communicate from now on. Okay then. Just to let you know, I'm gonna have some work here to do. Day job. So I might not be able to join you on your crusades. No matter. Rest well. We got rid of a very corrupt hero. Now Michi lies back on his bed, but then notices something. He sees his points went up by 500. And this is the first time Michi has ever killed a hero. And it turns out he gains more points from that than villains. But, you know, heroes are like bosses. So he decides to look through the shop and get a good look at things. He sees some standard basic buckles. But he also checks to see the other ones. He sees both the ninja and Magnum one, and then thinks back to both Ace and Kawa. And a small smile forms on his face, wondering how they're doing. But also, he wonders to himself, how did he die? Like, it doesn't really make much sense. He doesn't remember how he died. But he still continues to look, and then sees the Yamato buckle. And he gets flashbacks to when he was working with Baroba and the farmer guy. Yeah, they got me. He's hilarious. Just a side tangent. My little brother and I were watching Kamen Rider Geats, and by little I mean very little. And when we got to the scene again with the, no, hold on, no. It was the next day after watching Kamen Rider Geats, and my little brother asked me, "Hey, was that the guy, farmer guy, a villain?" And I go, "Gee, I wonder who the villain could be. It could be anyone. It could be the guy licking the hand." I don't think I said it like that, but no, I said it sarcastically, but not exactly those words. Gee, I wonder who the villain is. I wonder who's the hand licking one. Yeah, just a quick recap. He just goes, no. He continues to look, but notices the shop is locked, stating more will be added after completing the second quest. And he wonders, one, what's this second quest then? He decides, doesn't matter, and then goes to bed. So we cut to a few days after the Eleph trunk was killed. To both Stain and Buffa sitting on top of a root, with Stain just eating a sandwich that Buffa got for him.
Quick question. Do you ever take off that mask?
No, I don't. It makes it much harder for people to track me.
Good point. So I've been meaning to ask. What really motivates you to want to kill the fake heroes?
Well, you're one of the few people who will know about this. But I'm sure you're familiar with an incident where a sludge villain was possessing a student and All Might intervened.
I briefly heard about that. Yes, it was quite a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, during that incident, there was a casualty.
I thought there wasn't.
You think they wouldn't have tried to cover it up? Apparently that hostage was using his quirk to cause explosions. He kept blowing stuff recklessly, thinking he could escape. But in the moment, he caused debris to fall on someone. My mother. Stain's eyes widen, clearly intrigued by this story.
Continue.
I was only informed about this when I got back home. I was called to the hospital, where I saw the person who caused the explosions. He couldn't have even cared less. He was an arrogant brat.
Must have been quite a corrupt hero.
Oh, he was a student. I was then informed, in private, without him in my presence, that my mother had died. I was told to sign some documents to keep this under wraps. I didn't have much of a choice considering how dangerous the Heroes Association is. But sometimes I think about my goal. Maybe I'm targeting the wrong thing. But with Eleph Trunk, I've realized something. There are clearly pros that need to be killed, and some that need to be taught a lesson. I still don't know myself. I'm just trying to make sure not to repeat mistakes
repeat mistakes.
It's nothing. Shall we continue?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and before we continue, something to clarify. Stain's meetup with the League of Villains will be happening much later than planned. So just wanted to let you all know that in case you were all thinking. So now we are at the Hosu incident. Shigaraki just unleashes a bunch of Nomus for no reason whatsoever. Actually, no, he does have a reason. He wants to get rid of the hero killer everyone's been talking about, like,
He ain't so tough. I could beat him by touching it.
yeah, you know. He hasn't even met up with him yet, despite the fact that both his master, Kurogiri, and Grian want him to try and form an alliance. So Stain is going after Native, and Buffa is just sitting on the sidelines, just in case he needs help with it. And all seems good, but then Ida shows up, kicking Stain. This shocks both Buffa and Stain. Like, what is the kid doing here? I finally found you, hero killer. You shall pay for what you did to Ingenium. Okay, I don't really remember how their interaction went, but it kind of went like that. And Stain goes,
Go home, kid. This doesn't concern you.
I will not! You harmed my brother, making it so he can no longer perform his duties as a hero. I will have my revenge! And Buffa decides to step in because he knows full well that Stain does not pull his punches. Stop what you're doing, kid. You're gonna get yourself killed. Ida turns to see the hero, to see Kamen Rider Buffa and goes, You dare work with the hero killer? Oh, I see. Your goals both align. I will take you both out and avenge my brother! And Buffa goes, Is this what your brother would have wanted? You don't say it as if you know him! God, you're not gonna listen. Alright, mate, I'll just have to beat it into you. And this is where Ida fights both Buffa and Stain. And it goes similar, but Buffa's is having a hard time dealing with Ida's speed. Well, Stain just chips in whenever he can, but he's more focused on trying to get to Native, who is slightly recovering and is still able to sword the fight. Actually, we never knew what his quirk was. Screw it. I'm giving him a quirk right now. Ancestral guidance. It lets him communicate with... actually, no, wait. Screw it. Let's just say he can punch the racism out of you. Yeah, let's go with that. I don't know. Just... He's trying his best to hold off against Stain, but so far it's not looking so good. And to make things even worse, Shigaraki decided to add a blend of Nomu to this already shit show of a salad. And one of the flying Nomus shows up, and both Buffa and Ida know what's going on. Meanwhile, Stain's like, What is that thing? Stain! I've encountered that at the USJ! It doesn't look like the one I faced! Stain gives a quick nod and then begins to engage the Nomu, with Native just, well, being near death. Ida is still fighting against Buffa, and he thinks he's having the upper hand, but need I remind you, Buffa is a beast. And Ida tries to go for his special move, and it does a lot of damage to Buffa. But Buffa is able to counterattack by revolving on. This shocks both Ida and Stain. Like, they're wondering, what the fuck? They see him revolve. no quirk could ever do something like that. Need I remind you, Ida didn't see the revolve thing, so he didn't really understand it. And this, and Stain's like, okay, that is weird. And yeah, so I made them more sharp. You can thank me later, random comment section. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Ida then uses the zombie graveyard thing to cause Ida to be stuck in place, and then lands a rider kick on them, injuring them heavily. Buffa then revolts back on and goes to help Stain when all of a sudden Endeavor shows up. So, I finally found a hero killer and Kamen Rider Buffa. You have caused enough problems in Hosu. I don't think I can do Endeavor's voice, but let me give you all the one Shoto. Shoto. Now, Buffa is ready for this. He revolves his zombie buckle and takes out the water buckle. Giving a quick look to Stain. I have a counter for him. Henshin! And then he gets the water gun. Endeavor's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? He's also shocked because he just saw him revolve. And also gain new armor. Stain himself is also confused, but he's doing his best to deal with the Nomu, which he's able to handle very well thanks to his quirk. And Ida's just on the ground. So, Buffa uses the water buckle to fire a concentrated steam of water at Endeavor, and it hits him, but it doesn't really keep his flames out for long, I believe. Okay, so I was looking over to see if water was one of his weaknesses, but no, the only other thing that mentioned his weaknesses was an article that talked about his weaknesses as a character and his strengths as one. No mention of water, so screw it, he's a fire guy, and it's gonna be raining hell today. Hell water. Yeah, you know. Now Endeavor, he quickly read over Buffa's case file and about the two forms he had, the drill and the zombie breaker. He wasn't told about the fact he had a water gun with him. And Stain is just finishing up dealing with the Nomu when he sees this and goes, how many tricks do you have? And Buffa goes, a lot. And Endeavor's about to go and attack him, you know. But then another Nomu comes after him and he has to deal with that as well. So he ends up distracted while the two of them look over Ida. Well, I guess it's time for you to die, hero. Damn you all! Hold it. He's not going to die. What? He's still a kid. Besides, he hasn't done anything besides want a revenge. I can know that well. But that doesn't mean you won't leave without a reminder. And Buffa just keeps stomps on both his legs, breaking them. You'll heal. But remember this. I won't be so merciful next time. Let's get out of here. Don't you want to deal with Endeavor? We already been here for a long time. We gotta get out. Very well then. I hope you learned your lesson, fake. And so Stain and Buffa make a run for it. Not before, killing Native. Well, Stain did. Buffa didn't really understand why. So we cut to the next day where the news is reporting about the fact that Kamen Rider Buffa and the hero killer Stain are working together, with accordance to what Endeavor has said. Shigaraki, watching the TV, goes,
What? Why is he working for him? I thought he was a hero.
It seems we misjudged. It seems we could have a potential ally. Grian, could you go through the trouble and finding them for us? Standard commission fees. Make sure the money's on my desk. I assure you, you will have it. Shigaraki just being very irritated. That just starts scratching himself. But that's when Grian also mentions, oh, by the way, I found some recruits for you. I'll bring them in to you all later. And Shigaraki goes,
Great. More brats.
and now we cut to Ida in the hospital with the police dog and Manuel. And Manuel's giving him a lecture going, you could have got yourself killed! Hold out there! And Ida is apologizing. And Lie Detector Man is there as well. Going, I'm curious though, how did you survive? The vigilante known as Kamen Rider Buffa decided to spare my life. It seems like he also was on the path of revenge, but not before leaving me with heavy injuries. I will recover, and I will redeem what I have done. Going the robot choppy end. And so, yeah. Just wanted to include that briefly there. So in the next episode, it'll be covering the attack on the camp, and maybe a certain give me a quack! That's there in case any of you get the reference. Anyways, this is the end of this video, and I'll see you all for part 4.